Hey there guys, how's it going? Tails First here with a quick review of the SON-1206D Smart Fast Charger for lead-acid batteries, which I have one over here, and it's currently charging. Now, about the naming scheme here, SON is just the name of the product, and then 12 is the voltage that we're charging at, which is a 12-volt battery. And the 06 is 6 amps, which this can go up to. There's also a 1210D. That one can go up to 10 amps. I don't have that one. I just have the 1206. But that's what that naming scheme down there means. Anyway, so here we have, it's showing the battery voltage, which is 13.2, which is actually right. I've actually got the battery voltage there. And then it's also got the battery level. I really don't pay too much attention to this. It says it's at 30% right now. Usually the battery level will go up to like 95% and then sit there for like 4 hours. So it doesn't really mean anything. But what this thing does is it pretty much brings the battery voltage to the bulk charging voltage, which for this one is about 15.3 volts. And then it'll just hold it there until the current drops off. And it'll slowly drop off the current, keeping it at about 15.3 volts. And eventually it'll get down to about 1.5 to 1 amp over here on the current, and it'll shut off and go into float charge mode, which it'll bring the voltage to 14.4 volts and just keep it there. So so far, I mean, it's got a little fan on it. You can barely hear that, but it's there. It doesn't seem to work as well in the colder weather because this is actually outside. And whenever it's colder outside, because it's actually the fall right now, the fan doesn't like to spin up to high speed, but it doesn't really heat up all that much to begin with, so I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue there, especially because it's going to be cold out anyway. It'll keep it cold, even if the fan isn't running at full speed. Other than that, I mean, it does its job. I've used this thing about 3 times so far, and the battery fully charges. It does everything it needs to do. There's no bloating of the battery or anything like that. It stays up to where it's supposed to be at. This thing does a decent job. I'd say one thing I don't like is how thin the wires are on the 12-volt side. I mean, to be honest, they're kind of thin on this side too. These are really thin for what it is, but these don't get warm. These over here on the 12-volt side, they do get warm. I can actually feel it right now. They are getting a little toasty. But no issues really. I mean, I just keep an eye on it, just making sure that it's not going to do anything. Alright, so going over a few things that I do see other people, they do review this thing, and then in the comment section below, a lot of people have issues with it, stating that they're plugging it into their batteries, or clipping it onto their batteries, and then it immediately says that it's fully charged. Now, usually when people do this, and I've seen some other reviewers doing this, is the battery will be at like 9 volts or something like that. Now, when one of these batteries gets to about 10, I think it's 10.5 or 10.4 or something like that, once it gets down to about 10.4 volts, the battery literally starts to like eat itself. So if your battery is below 10.5 volts, usually the battery is in really bad shape. There's ways to save it. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm still learning about these things. But once it gets down to 10.5 volts or lower, the battery literally is destroying itself. So when you put a charger onto it, and it's already at 9 volts, which is below 10.5, the battery will not accept the charge, and it'll just go to the floating voltage, and the charger will think it's already charged the battery. And that's why you're having that issue. There's nothing wrong with the charger. It's literally your battery is dead. Beyond repair, or not beyond repair, but just dead, and it needs to be fixed or replaced. This darn light, come on. So yeah, I mean, other than that, this thing does work. I've seen some earlier revisions of this thing. It was still labeled the 1206D. That would actually bring the voltage of the battery up to 16 volts, and that's not good. So if you have a version that's going up to 16 volts, I would recommend not using it, but I think I got a newer version. And this one only goes up to 15.3, which I've done a little research, and apparently that's okay to go up to 15.3 during the bulk charging phase, and that's what this does. And then once it's done charging, it goes to a float voltage of 14.4, which is totally acceptable for these batteries. Anyway, guys, I don't know what else to really say. It's that's the, I don't know if I mentioned charging voltage here in the top left. Battery level on the bottom left, kind of useless to be honest. Charging status literally means that if that light's on or blinking, that means it's actually charging right now. Come on. Come on. And then we've got battery full here. There, a little green light will come on when it's done charging. And then it'll go down to 14.4 volts and just hold the battery at full charge until you are ready to use it for something else. Let's see, let's look at the back here. Maybe I can give you some more information. Ah, look at that, charging voltage 15 volts, so it actually says it right. Charging current 6 amps max, plus or minus 3 volts, or 0.3 volts, which is true. Well, it's input voltage is 110 all the way up to 240 volts, so it's, you can use it in other places too, not just in the US here. A whole bunch of China stuff there, or Chinese writing. I'm not sure what that is, because that doesn't really go to anything. There's no barrel connector on any of these things. Neither is that really, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, this is the SON-1206D. I have nothing else to really talk about now, because that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. You literally just clip on the leads onto the battery, and it'll start charging it. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future videos, please do let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions about this charger, let me know, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. This is Tails First, signing off. Have a wonderful day, everyone.